This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, voting for the midterm elections taking place today. We're so glad you could join us in today's show. And in today's episode, I talk with Ron Cowman of Syngenta about collecting and utilizing digital data on the farm. And as always, we take a look at the ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, what did we see in the grain markets today?
Well, corn made a good effort trying to stay fairly strong, but it did eventually succumb to more pressure. Wheat was down quite a bit. First of all, we started out on the overnight. We had some 338,600 metric tons of corn was sold to Mexico. That was private exporter sales. 144,000 metric tons of soybeans to Mexico. We had 138,700 metric tons to China of soybeans, and then another 132,000 of soybeans to unknown, which probably is China. It's many times when it's unknown that what they are. So that was continued. At least they show some strength there because of some continued movement. Now, probably the bigger thing is, other than a lot of people are talking about, well, the elections have the focus, but I don't think initially today they had much influence on the commodity markets per se. But USDA later yesterday, or they had released yesterday, their 10-year outlook report. And they're indicating that they estimate farmers are going to increase corn acres next year up to 92 million acres. That's a 3.4 million acre increase than what we had this year. And soybean acres declining by 500,000 acres to 87 million. And then wheat up 1.8 million acres to 47.5 million acres. I think that probably put a little more negativity into the market, even though that's just a wild projection that's out there. And it's a long time before we get there yet. And a lot of things can happen between that. But those are the things that psychologically can impact the market. Now, the Mississippi barge rates dropped by about a third already this week due to some improvement because of the weather. Rain lifting some of the levels of parts of the Mississippi River, and along with the harvest coming closer to an end. So the demand isn't as great for the barges to move out, and we're getting some stuff put away and in storage. So that probably had somewhat of an impact, maybe as well, on a little bit of the strength in the market. The Argentina corn crop was lowered today on an estimate by 1 million metric ton due to areas of frost and some dry conditions. Now, the other thing is we are looking at the World Agricultural Supply Demand Report coming out tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. Traders are generally square up some positions ahead of that. Corn doesn't seem to be, and wheat strong technically, but we might see the positioning ahead of that. The estimates are for ending stocks on corn up 47 million bushels versus what it was last time. Beans up 12 million to 212 million bushels. Corn at 1.219 billion bushels. You have to remember that 1.2 billion bushels on corn is really kind of a magic tipping number. If it's below 1.2, it's considered tight. If it's above 1.2, traders seem to think, oh, we're okay. So that may be another influence depending on where we fall on that. And wheat up 1 million bushels on ending stocks by 577 million bushels. So we did see beans hold well today, but the pressure came in on wheat and corn.
And what was the takeaway from today's livestock markets?
Well, yeah, livestock markets kind of, I think, took a breather. Cattle seemed to run out of a little bit of steam after December closed the chart gap yesterday. There was some hope that we'd see some strong follow through today. That did not materialize. Now traders seem to be saying, okay, we're going to wait to see what cash does now. In the South, offers were posted by feedlots at 152. It's looking at about $2 higher than last week. It might be a little hard to get that, seemingly, by how the packers are trying to view this market and how they might be looking at trying to get away with paying less because of the outlook for possible lower demand. So there was no asking prices anywhere else, nothing in the North at this point in time. Packers didn't put any bids out per se. Now, slaughter yesterday was a little bit iffy, down a little bit lower as far as cattle were concerned, but it's expected to see somewhat of a rebound today. So with that uncertainty in the market, we just kind of ran out of steam and we just kind of floundered back and forth. Now, boxed beef was good at midday. Choice was up $1.21. Select up 93 cents. Generally, they always change by the end of the day. And when we look at the hog market, seems like yesterday it ran too far, too fast. The big rally yesterday was not really supported by cash. And the market just, I think it hit stops. It just propelled that market higher. So it settled down today, gaining back or falling back, not quite half into December, but falling back a good portion of it. Now, the cash market today is doing what it normally does, and that's higher on Tuesdays. Last week, we didn't see a very good cash week, but this week looks following a pattern. We're up 343 at the midday report on the cash side of it, and cutouts were higher as well at midday, up $1.92. So we might be seeing stronger cash today, maybe tomorrow, which is generally the pattern. And the key is going to be seeing if we're going to continue to see some strong slaughter pace. That's really going to be what's going to support that market this week.
Robin, how can our viewers get in touch if they would like some more great market analysis from agmarket.net?
They can call me directly at 877-256-3253 or go to our website, agmarket.net. The phone number's on there. They can pick up the phone and call in, and any broker that's available, we'll be able to help them.
He is Robin Schmahl from agmarket.net, our guest today. Robin, thank you so much for the analysis, and we'll hope to speak with you again soon.
All right, thank you. Pleasure being on, and have a great day.
That was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. It's time now to take a look at the closing numbers brought to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 8 1/4 at 667.5. November soybeans up 4 even at 14.44 even. Soybean meal for January up 80 cents at 413.70. Soybean oil for January down $1.22 at 72.68. Chicago wheat down 18 even at 827 3/4. Minneapolis wheat down 9 3/4 at 950 1/2. Kansas wheat is down 11 1/2 at 945 3/4. December oats down 4 1/2 at 380 3/4. On the Merc, live cattle for December unchanged at 153.05. November feeder cattle up 5 cents at 178.27. Lean hogs for December down $1.47 at 85.57. December pork cutout down 22 cents at 95.97. And Class 3 milk for November unchanged at 20.90. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break now to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association, and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I talk with Ron Cowman of Syngenta. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. In today's show, I speak with Ron Cowman of Syngenta. We talk about ways that farmers can collect data on their farm and then use that data to make some predictive analysis, make some predictions of what farmers should be doing with that data on their own operation. Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. We are here at the Syngenta Media event in New Orleans, and we're talking all about crop protection. I'm joined now by Ron Cowman. Ron, could you tell us your title with Syngenta and just kind of the elevator pitch on your job?
Yeah, sure, Mark. Thank you very much. So I am the head of Digital Ag Solutions for North America for Syngenta. And basically what that means is I oversee the development and implementation of our digital strategy across our crop protection business, as well as seed care. And then I work closely with my seed counterparts in our seed division to make sure that we are aligned around our digital strategy, tools, and implementation as well.
So Ron, basically what you are involved in is allowing farmers to get all of their data put together in one spot where they can access it. Am I kind of right on that?
Well, certainly that is the wish when we talk to our farmer customers. Is one of their biggest pain points is I don't want duplication of entry. I don't want to log into multiple systems. Can you interconnect to equipment that I already have on the farm so that data flows? And so all of that comes into account as we build our product roadmaps and we think about how we deliver solutions to the grower. And we're making great strides in that with some of our new offerings within our CropWise digital ecosystem, which will be delivered under the AgriEdge program to our customers.
Ron, when farmers use AgriEdge, when they use those CropWise tools, what do you find them, I know you mentioned today that you work closely with farmers, what do you find them telling you as far as tools that they like with those products?
Yeah, it's evolving, and so one of the key areas that we used to hear was I just need a place to digitally keep all of the records and applications and inputs and just a digital file cabinet, if you will. And that has evolved to now growers are really looking at leading indicators. So what type of agronomic insights can be provided that a customer can use to determine how he or she might manage the field upcoming. So things like pest predictability, weed seed bank predictability, real-time environmental factors as to when is disease or insect or pest pressures coming into play, what are the recommendation options that they have. And I think that's key is all of our digital tools that are providing insights are just that. They're insights by which the customer then can make his own determination as to what best fits their farming operation to implement. So we're certainly not in the business of giving direct, here's what you need to do recommendations, but rather giving options to the customer to be able to determine what fits his or her field.
So it's kind of evolved then from not just reviewing what you've already done, but actually having the tools to maybe do some predictive analysis of where you might be going?
That's exactly right. It was what we used to refer to as lagging indicators. So we would use farm management systems to look back upon what had been done and the impact and talk about the future, where now, digital enablement is really about more real-time leading indicators. And certainly that is all based off historical data, historical information. But we want to look forward versus looking behind us.
So say you're a farmer that has all that information, you've been logging that for several years, there's not a extreme weather event. Has that software shown to be pretty accurate when it comes to helping to predict yields, for example?
Yes, there's always anomalies, certainly, but if you can gain enough historical data and information where that variable becomes more of a constant, then it's really about just choosing the variables that you know or that you are managing yourself, whether that's input variables or hybrid seed selection variables. And so over time, you begin to build out a pattern where the pattern actually pulls out the anomalies versus the consistencies. And it's the anomalies then that you can manage to bring forward more consistency. And I think that's the other change as we look forward versus behind. It's never a given by any means, but particularly in areas where you have more manageable variability, certainly your consistency is much higher.
So right now, in a time like right now where input costs are just extreme and you really want to use your fertilizer as efficiently as possible, is this a tool that's allowing farmers to do that?
It is. You know, when we think about field record keeping as an example, the core behind field record keeping is to understand the financial impact of your management practices. And so there's no better time to really understand where are the most productive and efficient areas within a field, so that you can manage your fertility, your inputs, your management practices according to that. And, you know, what we like to talk about is a good farm management system like CropWise Financials allows you to take agronomics to economics. And there's no better time in a volatile marketplace like we had this year and what we expect to have next year to truly understand where you apply your inputs and you tighten your management practices up in order to make it through those more difficult times.
So Ron, you mentioned that AgriEdge has been in the works for over 20 years now, or around 20 years, and all of the CropWise tools that go into it. But where do you kind of see the next step? Where do you see the future of the digital side of agriculture heading next?
Yeah, I think a couple areas. You know, you're right. AgriEdge has been with us now in the marketplace for 22 years. We've got really good uptake and retention value in that. And what we are doing is interacting with those growers who have used that program for the last 22 years to better understand what the needs that they have. And one of the key new pain points, if you will, is how can you help me manage my risk in terms of weather perils or commodity fluctuations? And so if we think about those variables that you can control versus you can't, those are two that you cannot control. And so we're bringing forward some risk mitigation tools as part of our digital enablement strategy to allow growers to think about how can they hedge against commodity fluctuations, and how can they also hedge against particular weather events, whether that's a frost event or a hail event, a windstorm event, you know, in the Midwest. Those kinds of things we're bringing into our digital tools, which go into the management practices and planning for our customers as to if that's a pain point that they want to invest in that type of production.
So wrapping things up, anything you'd like to let our listeners, our viewers know about when it comes to where you are right now as far as producing these digital tools, and I guess where you think we're going?
Yeah, I would say we're in a constant evolution, as you would expect with any technology. The key to our strategy is that we work through and with our retail channel partners alongside the growers. And so as we are in the field with those channel partners and with their growers, we just need to better understand what those pain points are and what the solutions they have or what they don't have, and how can we better enable our product strategy with our seed care and our seed and our crop protection products to deliver those solutions that the growers need and enable them through our digital technology. So we just need them to be open and honest about what their needs are in the marketplace, and we'll apply that into our thought process and roadmaps as we build out new and additional innovative products.
He's Ron Cowman with Syngenta. Ron, thank you so much for the time. Very interesting, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That was Ron Cowman of Syngenta. As for right now, let's take a look at the ag weather outlook. A fairly mild day here in the state of Iowa today, but as we look towards tomorrow, we're going to have a very nice day here in the upper Midwest. It's going to feel like early fall temperatures as we're in the mid 60s, maybe even into the low 70s. And Thursday also expected to be a fairly mild day, and then things will change. We will drop into the 30s for the foreseeable future. Let's go ahead now and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, cloudy skies today with a chance of rain in the western portion of the state of Iowa. Sunshine in the eastern parts of the state. Highs in the mid-50s to low 60s. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures will warm up throughout the overnight hours. Showers possible in the west. Lows in the upper 40s to low 60s. Tomorrow, here comes the warm-up. Rain and clouds will give way to sunshine tomorrow. Highs in the mid-60s to low 70s. And as we turn our attention to our affiliate weather map, Cherokee, cloudy and warm tomorrow with a high temperature around 70. Shenandoah, warm and partly cloudy, 73 degrees the high. Des Moines, partly cloudy and 71 tomorrow. Albia, partly cloudy and 72. Waterloo, partly cloudy and cooler than the rest of our affiliate map, but still a high temperature tomorrow around 61. And Clinton, partly cloudy and a high around 69 degrees. For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. And that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget our free twice daily market podcasts. Those are found on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.